Doctor Who Season 10 is bad, and while it's not entirely feminism's fault, it does play a large role in my personal disliking of the show. Now, before you say anything, hear me out and let me start by saying that I do not think that the fact that the companion is black, or that she's gay, or that the next Doctor is going to be a woman, I don't think that any of that is a problem on its own. I mean, Missy is easily my favorite character of all the show, and probably one of my favorite characters in general.
Oh, hello. What have we got here?
You're probably handsome, aren't you? Well, congratulations on your relative symmetry.
Who are you?
Well, I am that mysterious adventurer in all of time and space, known only as Doctor Who. And these are my disposables, exposition and comic relief.
If the thought process had been more like that of Wonder Woman, where they just try to have a strong female character and that's it, I really would have been fine with it, but it doesn't stop here in this season. It's not enough to have a diverse cast, you have to tell the audience that your cast is diverse at least once per episode. You can like Bill all you want, and to be fair, I really like her myself when I put aside all the bullshit, but they put so much emphasis on the fact that she's a black and gay woman, you can't stop but think about how much it wants to give it a medal.
2 portions, 1 portion. Is there going to be food sexism even in the future? Is this bloke utopia? Interesting.
What is?
Regency England. A bit more black than they show in the movies.
So was Jesus. History's a whitewash.
Who let this creature in here? On your feet, girl! In the presence of your betters?
Yeah, that was pretty convincing racism for an extraterrestrial.
My thoughts exactly.
Not enough people dying.
Girl, you show the ignorance of all your kind.
Capitalism in space.
What? Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't expecting. Hello.
Great, we rescued a racist.
What, excuse me? Sorry, it's just I haven't seen many, well, any of your people.
It shows.
Sorry, is your name Darren?
Darren.
Oh, makes more sense. For the record, I'm not prejudiced. I'm usually on the receiving end.
Oh, why?
Too many rescue ships. It's a first world problem. The end point of capitalism. A bottom line where human life has no value at all.
And you, female. What do you say?
Me?
We are both surrounded by noisy males. I would value your opinion.
Well, we're sort of police.
Speak for yourself.
What? Well, you can deal with big green Martians and rocket ships, but you can't deal with us being the police.
No. It's just such a fanciful notion. A woman in the police force.
Yeah? I'm gonna make allowances for your Victorian attitudes because, well, you actually are Victorian. I don't like men that way.
What, not ever?
Nah, not ever. Only women.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I got it. You like Vitus, then?
What?
He only likes men.
Some men. Better looking men than you, Lucius.
I don't think it's narrow-minded. I think it's fine. You know what you like.
And you like both?
I'm just ordinary. You know, like men and women.
Well, isn't this all very modern?
Hey, not everyone has to be modern. I think it's really sweet that you're so restricted.
So, look, Time Lords, bit flexible on the whole like man-woman thing then, yeah?
We're the most civilized civilization in the universe. We're billions of years beyond your petty human obsession with gender and its associated stereotypes.
But you still call yourselves Time Lords.
Yeah, shut up. They happen everywhere there's people. Mondas, Telos, Earth, Planet 14, Marinus. Like sewage and smartphones and Donald Trump, some things are just inevitable.
Do as she says. Is the future gonna be all girl?
I can only hope.
Like, Really? Does the Doctor talking about history being a whitewash make any sense to you? Does it make any sense for the Doctor to mention Donald Trump? There are even a few anti-meat messages that I honestly don't mind as much, be it only because the Doctor used to be portrayed as being a vegetarian. But then, why would you be completely inconsistent and have him eat some weird flesh thing?
I'll go and try this, this is my favorite.
Your favourite?
So, to contrast, and hopefully make my point clearer, I would like to compare Bill to two other characters in this show that share traits with Bill. Martha Jones, who is a black woman, and Jack Harkness, who is an omnisexual guy who only ever kisses men with the exception of Rose and Gwen. Now, when were you ever reminded that Martha was black? The answer is that Shakespeare calls her his Dark Lady once, because they want to say that the sonnet he wrote was about her, and a bunch of other terms, none of which are intended as pejoratives.
More to the point, who is your delicious blackamoor lady?
What did you say?
Oops, isn't that a word we use nowadays? An Ethiop girl, a Suave, a Queen of Africa?
Can't believe I'm hearing this.
Political correctness gone mad. Martha's from a...
That is the only time, if I recall correctly. And when were you reminded that Jack was gay? Well, in scenes that involve him flirting or kissing men. Point is, you never feel like there's an agenda behind these characters. You never think that Martha is the companion because she's black. Bill, on the other hand, she handfists this so much that it feels forced. I mean, they definitely wrote her as a black lesbian before writing her as a character. If you take Rose and make her black, her character still makes sense. If you take Martha and make her black... if you take Martha and make her white or make her a lesbian, her character still makes sense. But Bill, she was built to be a minority. Again, I feel compelled to say the problem is not the character herself. I couldn't care less if she was a minority or not. I couldn't care less if she was white or black, or gay or straight, whatever. The problem is the thought process that led to her character's creation, and of course, how she was portrayed throughout the whole season. By the clips I've shown earlier, many of you might be thinking, well, it does make sense to have racist and sexist characters in Victorian times, so why am I trying to make it look like it's forced? All of this political message wouldn't feel really natural to me in any show that hadn't exhibited such things beforehand, especially if presented in such a way. But to have this pop up in a 12-year-old show that has characters meeting thousands of different species where racism was never mentioned, it feels especially jarring. Even more so because it happens so much in so little time. I don't come to Doctor Who to get lectured on racism or sexism. I don't come to a science fantasy show about a man with two hearts that flies through time and space in a blue box to hear about politics. The problem, on top of all of that, is that suddenly everything is annoying and everything feels forced, even when it shouldn't. Stop me if I'm speaking nonsense, but seeing that Bill was a black lesbian felt like it was just incidental at first. Now it feels like she's a talking head for the show to remind us that racism is everywhere. Now with the Doctor being a woman doesn't feel natural. It feels like a political statement. Going to 1814 now feels like it was a way to have a racist man insult Bill and for the Doctor to say that.
This was a whitewash.
Having the Doctor say things about whitewashing, it is not original, it is not subtle, it is not funny, and it does not contribute anything to the story. It is very obnoxious and in your face, in fact, and most of the time it actually puts the plot on hold to tell the joke. The rest of the time, it feels like a plot was made just so that they could fit that daring political statement that racism is bad. Now, I am by no means saying that you cannot or should not make a show that goes deeper into issues like racism. It won't be something I'll watch if it's as subtle as it is in this series, but whatever. The problem arises when you come with themes like that and bring them to twist a show that I actually like, and not even with any subtlety whatsoever. If you want to write a feminist TV show, go for it, but don't transform a show I actually like to do that. I mean, Doctor Who was pretty progressive to begin with, and in ways that were not as obnoxious, so really, there was no need for that. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. I plan on doing a few videos tackling one episode after another about everything that fell flat for me, in, I guess, similar manner to the Walking Dead series from Your Movie Sucks, and eventually I have a few things to say about a few other series or movies, so subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you soon.